O Brahman, O the sense of self-awareness. O Brahman, O Brahman, O the sense of self-awareness, O pure consciousness. O Brahman, O the sense of self-awareness, O pure consciousness. Lead us from darkness to light, O Brahman, lead us from untrue to true. O Brahman, lead us in your path. O Brahman, give us the strength to shed our karma. O Brahman, give us the strength to shed our karma. O Brahman, let this Atman speak the words of truth, and let this Atman speak the words of wisdom. O Brahman, let this Atman bring clarity for rest of the humanity. O Brahman, let this Atman not tangled in human condition or human domestication. O Brahman, let this Atman not deviate from the purpose it signed up for. O Brahman, let this Atman not deviate from the main reason, from the main purpose this Atman signed up for, which is to shed the karma, which is the spiritual growth, which is to get to the light, which is to attain moksha, which is to achieve moksha, instead of worrying about where someone is from, instead of worrying about where someone is from, what kind of color of skin a person carries, what kind of race a person belongs to. All these human filters which have made it possible, sadly and unfortunately, for the humans to get stuck, unfortunately, and deviate from their spiritual growth. That their spiritual growth is the main reason that they are here in the physical form. They are here in the physical form so an experience can be generated and they can relate to physicality and shed the karma. More karma they shed, the more closer to the light they become. Light itself is the first manifestation of Brahman. Life itself is the first manifestation of Brahman. Life itself is the carrier. Life itself is the carrier of life, which is creating birth, which is giving birth to physicality. This is the main reason we are here on the planet Earth. This is the main reason we took this physical form so we can relate to physicality. With the same reason we are here to shed our karma, not to worry about where someone is from. Yesterday, I had a meeting. Yesterday, I had a meeting, and after the meeting, I called a cab. And when the cab driver arrived, and I got into the cab, after a couple of seconds of silence, he couldn't keep his conditioned, unfortunately, curiosity to himself. And the way I carry myself, I understand, and I give people the benefit of the doubt that they want to know where I am from and they want to know it very quickly. So the same question he raised that where I was, the same question he raised where I was from, and I told him where I was from. You see, I have mentioned it numerous retreats here too, but the same question keep coming up. I am not frustrated. Excuse me, I am not frustrated, nor I'm complaining about the cabbie or the cab driver. You see, nor I'm complaining about that. I'm telling you this for a reason. We stop being concerned for the real reason we took this form thousands and thousand years back. 50,000, 50,000 years of evolution it took to create a mind like this. I have told you that the mind of humanity and the thoughts of humanity are all entangled. Imagine a rubber band ball in which the rubber bands are overlapped and the rubber bands are tied with each other and the rubber bands are overlapping. The rubber bands are overlapping with each other. Imagine. Overlapping means they are touching each other. They are banded. The rubber bands are banded with each other so tightly that it's almost impossible, you see, to acknowledge or recognize which rubber band is which. Each rubber band, now imagine, each rubber band actually is a thought. Think it like this, that each rubber band is a thought, and that's how our thoughts are entangled. It took us it took us 50,000 years. It took us 50,000 years to get here, to encompass, to attain this mind of all humanity, but the thoughts are entangled. Lately, we stop being concerned with the legitimate concerns. The legitimate concerns are, what am I doing for my spiritual growth? Because I am not. That is a wise and a legitimate question. You see this? What am I doing for my spiritual growth? Because if you see this and you realize you are not going to carry this on forever, you are not going to carry with this accumulation forever. So you rather invest your focus, you rather invest your awareness to something which carries on even after this, and yet is still in this very moment also is there. So we stop being concerned, unfortunately, thousands and thousands of years back about our well being. What am I doing? What am I doing for my spiritual growth? What am I doing? What kind of clarity, what kind of transparency I am bringing in my own perception? Am I balanced enough? You see, are you following? Am I balanced enough in my thoughts? Am I balanced enough in my emotions? Is my body, am I balanced enough? Or is my body aligned with the thoughts, which is mind, and my life energy, which is prana, in yogic culture? Are they all aligned? Because if they are all aligned, because if they are balanced, I can bring clarity in human perception. In order to make a difference in the human perception, in order to enable them to see much clearly each time when they hear the words of truth and when they hear the words of wisdom, you must be balanced. You must be totally aligned with your mind, your energy, life energy, prana, and your body. It must be totally aligned. Then and only then you can bring clarity in human perception. If not all the time, then for the most part. But that's why I gave you the example of that cab driver who couldn't keep his conditioned curiosity and ask me the question which does not serve no purpose. You see, I'm not mad at him. If he asked me this question 10 times, I would answer him 10 times. Answering people question has never been a problem for me. This is the job I signed up for. But you must focus to the questions and you must focus to the thoughts you have for the most part in your mind. That is a little concerning in a way because it's detrimental. I hope you understand and have heard the word detrimental to human growth as far as the spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is the most important growth that there is. It's not important where somebody is from. It's all the part of conditioning, if you understand. It's it's not important where somebody is from. It's all the part of conditioning. We are growing up seeing our elders doing thoughtless conversations with each other, thoughtless information, putting so much focus and putting so much energy in the things they wouldn't matter in the end. It wouldn't matter in the end where somebody is from. It wouldn't matter in the end what kind of designation or what kind of post somebody is on. Your career, your financial career wouldn't matter. Your ethnicity wouldn't matter. Your color, your race, your gender wouldn't matter. All this has become, unfortunately, all this has become sadly the part of humanity. All this has become the part of humanity in such a way that it has become so complicated that it seems almost impossible for us to come out of the useless information and knowledge. Is there something wrong asking these questions? It's not the matter of right and wrong. It's not the matter of morality. It's not the matter of patience. It's not the matter of acceptance. It's the matter of wisdom. It's the matter of clarity. Is the matter of focus, is the matter of spiritual growth, is the matter of real purpose that you are here, is the matter of not deviating, not going to a bend, not deviating, and not going to a bend, not deviating, and not going to a bend, to a curve from the real purpose. You see, the 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 goal of life, whether it's in the human form or in any form, there are numerous, countless forms of life, not just the human form. Creation is not human centric either. The goal of human life is to find the prime, the ultimate, the prime level, the ultimate form, the highest, to achieve the highest form of consciousness. If you understand what I'm saying to you, The goal, the goal of life is to find prime, is to find the highest level of consciousness. That prime, that highest level of consciousness cannot be found when all your focus is invested in small petty things which wouldn't matter in the ultimate reality, which wouldn't matter in the ultimate truth, that you can profile somebody based on how they look, based on what they wear, based based on how they look, based on what they wear, based on their ethnicity, based on their color of skin, how they speak, what kind of accent they have. Is their accent fancy? Do I attract that accent? How they speak? All these thoughts, everything, it's not important in your spiritual growth. It makes zero difference. You see zero? Have you ever seen a zero? It makes zero difference basically in your spiritual growth. Become concerned, what am I doing with this carnation? Become concerned, what am I doing with the life I have been given? Become concerned, how can I find happiness? How can I find happiness without hurting, God forbid me, anybody? How can I find happiness without hijacking or on the other people's expense? How can I find happiness without being selfish? How can I find happiness within me that resides in me and that always has been um, a residence in me? What, how can I find happiness without me getting involved in numerous substances? How can I find happiness without me getting involved in addictions? How can I find happiness without me getting involved in any type of addiction? Whether it is the addiction towards food, whether it is the addiction towards sleeping, whether it is the addiction towards alcohol or video games or substances or sex or socializing or friendships or traveling or the gadgets. You see, these are all addictions. Everything to for a human, whatever is significant for the survival is okay, you see. But when we become addicted, God forbid me, to something, we get identified with those things. We depend on those things. It brings the mood swings in us if we are not given the drug in a hypothetical manner. If we are given the drug we are addicted towards, drug does not mean literally, or it's a metaphor I am using to demonstrate you that anytime you are addicted to food, anytime you are addicted to video games, anytime you are addicted to sex, anytime you are addicted to alcohol, anytime you are addicted to numerous types of substances, these things, if we get addicted to these things take a charge on us. Then we are not liberated. We are controlled, unfortunately. Our desire, our mood, our whole being, our awareness, unfortunately, is controlled by the addiction towards these things. So do not form addiction and try to find happiness which does not depend on the addictions, which does not depend on any of these things, the kind of happiness we are looking for. This is the goal of human life, to find that happiness without any outside source. This is what we unfortunately And this is what we sadly stopped long time ago being concerned with. What can I do? What am I doing with this carnation? What am I doing with this Jivan? What am I doing with the time? What am I doing with the time I have been given between the knot of birth? Have you heard the term birth? What am I doing with the time I have been given between the knot of birth and the knot of death? You see how useful this is the time between the knot of birth and the knot of death. This is the time very significant. This is the time to understand and realize the main goal of human life. This is the time to make habit good things that would bring clarity in your perception. This is the time, the things which would bring clarity in your perception, to adopt them. This is the time to adopt Kriya Yoga. This is the time to adopt Kriya meditation to bring clarity. This is the time to retrieve. This is the time to retrieve yourself in seclusion, to retrieve yourself in silence. You see, shh, I always tell you, this is silence. To retrieve yourself in seclusion, to retrieve yourself in silence for some time and perform Kriya meditation to bring clarity, to get you more closer to the light. You see, this is the goal of life in the human form, not lingering on the surface all the time, not get stuck in a circle. You see, like a zero. When you get stuck in a circle, you are like a zero. You see, zero, it's round. So you are going in a zero when you get stuck in a circle. So do not get stuck in the circle. Do not linger on small petty things which are abstract and don't exist in nature. Do not linger and get stuck on the surface, which wouldn't take you anywhere. It wouldn't help you with your moksha. It wouldn't help you with the ultimate liberation. It wouldn't help you with mukti. It wouldn't help you with salvation. It would not. These things are not important. Then you ask questions, then you profile the person in your mind. You can never know. Please read my lips what I'm saying to you. Please read my lips what I'm saying to you. You can never know how a person is happening in a reality. You see, when you ask these type of questions are nothing but a nasty habit. These type of questions are nothing but conditions. These type of questions we have learned because we see others doing that, and we think majority is some type of authority. No, majority is not some type of authority. That's what a mystic is. The role of the mystic to experience life being involved without being involved in a second hand information, the information, the knowledge which was handed over to somebody who was also handed over. That's not what mysticism is. Mysticism is when you experience life firsthand. That's what mysticism is. So try to experience life, try to question things, try and audit yourself. You see, keep yourself light, not entangled like those rubber bands I mentioned a few minutes ago. You see, not entangled like those rubber bands in the rubber band ball. You see, do not be entangle your thoughts. Do not live in the cluttering, unfortunately. Do not live in confusion. Do not live the petty life. Do not live an average human life. You deserve better. You owe to yourself better things. You owe to yourself your evolution. You owe to yourself your happiness. You are the only one who can do something about your happiness without the help of any outside source. So please ponder on what I said. Have you learned to sit yet? Keep your backbone straight as humanly comfortable and possible when you sit, you see, because your backbone is the place through which consciousness or the sense of self-awareness, or if you are a religious person, God runs through it, if you understand what I'm saying to you. So keep that straight, please, when you sit. You heard the bell. It means, or it usually means, that this is for me the time for a private meditation session.